Members of the House over the past 3 days have debated the content of the media review statement presented and the request for supplementary estimates. On Wednesday, 29th July, the House concluded debate on the statement and request for additional funding of 11.8 billion Ghana cedis for the 2020 financial year. The Minority Leader Harry Naidrusu in his submission demanded clarity in respect of expenditure on the management of COVID-19 and disagreed with government's decision to suspend the Fiscal Responsibility Act due to the impact of the pandemic.
We are indeed in extraordinary times. With COVID, whittle away the gains that have been made in the development of the economy, but to suspend our fiscal rules is just like saying that when we're not meeting the convergence criteria of ECOWAS, we should have run back to Parliament and say that because of volatility in the world, suspend the fiscal rules. That does not measure the counting on those issues. So when you say execution, it's only a mark of grand deception. You don't have any 100 billion to invest in the Ghanaian people. So when you say Obatampa 100 billion, 2021, 2023, we do not know who will be leading the country. We are optimistic that John Dramani Mahama would have taken over and review some of these decisions that you have taken.
The contribution of the Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu highlighted the economic management record of the Akufo-Addo administration amid the pandemic.
It is indeed true that expenditures have shot our public debt stock to 258.372 billion. The Minority Leader even quoted 256. Really, it's 258.372 billion cedis, representing in current exchange rate of 45.566 billion. That is 67% of GDP, which increase is mainly at the instance of the Eurobond issuance in February 2020, front-loading of expenditures, the COVID-19 effects, and exchange rate depreciation. Whilst Parliament must watch the radar, and I agree with the Minority Leader, that we must watch the radar of expenditure to ensure that as a country we have value for money. That indeed is the work of Parliament. It is unfortunate and simplistic, however, to suggest that this government has borrowed more monies than any government.
The Speaker offered the Minister of Finance, Ofori-Atta, the opportunity to respond to concerns raised by the minority in the course of the debate. In an interview later, the Minister of Finance clearly outlined how government will fund the 11 billion Ghana cedis Ghana Cares program.
Decided on a 100 billion CD program over the 3-year period, which means that government will have to find additional 30 billion of resources. And what we intend to do is really in our commitment to digitalize the economy, we expect to be able to move our revenue to GDP ratio from the 13% we have now to 20%. That certainly will lead to huge increments in our resources. We also obviously have not done very well with property taxes, and that is an area that we are going to try and mine, to look at our gold receipts, etc., and to look at the tax exemptions regime that we have. So through that, we believe we can get a 30 billion. Then there's another 70 billion, which will be a combination of FDI, private sector, domestic and foreign, PPPs, etc. And GIPC will be resourced to be a lot more effective than it has been.
Earlier, the House approved a €91 million loan for the design and construction of the Nima drain from Kaukudi to the Odo River Basin. The supplementary estimates that accompanied the media budget review has today been approved by Parliament after 3 days of deliberation and scrutiny. Reporting for Citi News from Parliament, my name is Duke Menton Poku.